Hey there traders, and welcome back for episode number 143 from the Stock Bandit, and I'm glad that you've joined us. So in this episode, I just want to spend a few minutes walking you through the swing trades that we took over at thestockbandit.com during the month of July. And you've probably seen the recent picks page on the site, and you've seen our consistency from month to month, but I thought that it might be helpful to kind of break down the trades from July and show you step by step why we got in and out and where we got in and out. Now, I need to say right up front that July was an excellent month of trading for us, and yet you'll notice that on most of these trades, we did not exit perfectly. And that's a key factor to accept as a trader. And I say that because looking back, you can often feel as if you were wrong to enter or exit at certain levels, yet you may have made good money on the trade. So the question is, would you rather make money or be right? And for me, I'd rather book consistently profitable trades and then add them up for a nice fat gain. It's nice to nail the occasional exit, but it isn't a requirement at all for a great month. So be careful when you look in the rearview mirror at trades and overanalyze things, and definitely take from them what you can. Now, as we get into these trades, you're going to see that we didn't take a lot of trades. It's not like we just kind of threw spaghetti at a wall to see what would stick. Instead, we took more of a direct kind of a sniper approach for the month, and we took good solid patterns which all had potential to make good moves. And it worked out very well for us yet again on a net basis. So let's get going here. Up first, we took a trade in AGP, and this stock had entered into a pretty long-standing high channel pattern. This thing attempted to break out and failed pretty big right here on this particular bar. It then sold off. It broke support right there, and then it broke this longer term support right in here. Well, the bounce which followed was pretty lackluster. Stock was starting to lose momentum. It also was bouncing on very weak upside volume. So we looked at this one for a possible short sale right here as it broke this rising trend line here. So that was on July 12th. This thing then reversed back higher and stopped out right in here at the 32.90 level for a 3% loss. The next trade that we took was in NetEase. We entered as this thing cleared resistance on July 13th right here. That was at 34.20 as the stock was creating some short-term higher lows. It was breaking through resistance. Looks like it could kind of gain some upside momentum. It took a few days. This thing did pull back just slightly, but then it did gather some strength, and it then ran considerably higher. We actually closed out our position for an average exit of 36.29. That was right here on July 23rd. You can see this thing ran nearly 10% higher beyond that level. So not the best exit, but a very nice 6% gain in just, about 10 days time. Next trade we took was a short sale in SLW, and this thing failed at a breakout of resistance right there. Stock sold off. It then started to bounce in this pretty lazy fashion here, and we saw very weak upside volume accompanying this bounce. That really created this rising wedge type pattern, and we always trade from the patterns. So we took a short sale in SLW as this thing broke the lower wedge trend line on July 14th at 1910. Closed this thing out on July the 20th at 1820. So nice little move right there just for a few days time, and this thing gave us a 4.7% gain. Next trade we took was in Joe. This is St. Joseph Company, and this thing was starting to work its way higher. It then pulled back in a pretty mild fashion here. It created this small falling wedge type pattern. So I bought this thing on July 21st as this thing cleared the upper trend line there. That was at 25.75, but it did reverse and finished very poorly on the day, so I stopped out for a 4.9% loss, which is a little bit frustrating considering this thing really ran nicely. So the analysis was correct. Stop loss was just possibly a little bit too tight on this one. Next trade we took was in STP, and here's a solar stock that was starting to work its way higher with this bullish consolidation or wedge pattern here following a nice rally. This stock looked like it was poised for more upside, so I bought this stock right here as it cleared the upper trend line there at 10.95. That was on July 21st, and waited and waited. This thing never really caught any momentum, so ultimately I had tightened my stop This thing stopped me out right there for a gain of 1 cent. So call it a break-even trade. This thing then trended considerably lower from there. So anytime a good pattern like this doesn't really pan out, that's a great example for one. We're kind of implementing a time stop when a stock doesn't move the way you expect. Keep notching up that stop loss, and sometimes you'll get taken out of the trade and you'll be very glad that you did. Next trade we took was in GDX, and this is a gold miners ETF. The stock was starting to trend lower after this failed breakout here through the prior highs. It then was trending lower with the creation of lower highs, and so this is one that I took an entry on right here on the short side on July 26th as this thing broke this rising trend line here at 48.80. Actually took half profits right here on the low of this bar. However, that was the first target, and our second target was never met. This thing did rally back up and actually was closed out on July 29th, right in there, for a solid 3% gain. So that's pretty common. We'll tend to take these ETFs from time to time for smaller gains, but nice consistency there. And it's very common to also see in our swing trades multiple profit targets in case a trade doesn't completely go to the level that we expect. Also entered Newmont Mining, NEM, on this rising trendline break right here. That was on July 26th at $58.70 on the short side. This thing sold off very quickly. We took profits just 2 days later with an average exit of $55.40 for a nice 5.6% gain. Short and sweet, but a really good entry and exit there on that one, and this thing did not move lower from there. The last trade that we took in July was in Mosaic, MOS. The stock had a rising trend line here, an uptrend line was developing. The stock had met some short-term resistance here, so we bought this on a breakout right here on July 29th as it cleared the 47.20 level. We ultimately closed out this position with our final exit being at the 52.30 level, and this thing then backed off from that zone, but a nice solid gain in this trade of 8.3% with an average exit of 51.50. So nice, good, solid trade. So there's a good look at the trades that we took for the month of July. We took 8 total trades. 6 of them were winners, and our winners were also larger than our losses, which is common to see here as well. And that's a key to good trading. So whether you come over and trade with us at thestockbandit.com or if you continue going it alone, look to keep the ratios like that in your favor. And remember, in trading, it's about quality, not quantity. Thanks again for joining me for this episode, and I will be back soon with more trading videos. But in the meantime, trade like a bandit.